Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I would like you to get your eyeballs ready to use your eyes today for our presentation. And any sound that you hear, the voices, etc., are meant to help those of you who can hear understand what we're talking about today. It's access for you. Okay, before we begin, I want to let you know my name is Zoe. This is what I'm called in the community, my sign name. And this is Sam. Now, Sam is not yet blessed with a sign name because he hasn't yet fully integrated in the deaf community. So what you see up here on the screen is pretty amazing. This is created by having a live person sign, so it's a movement capture technology. But it takes a lot of time to collect this sort of sign language data. What we wanted to do in our group was to create some sort of automatic sign language capture, which would save time. There are many sign languages, many languages in general in the world, and there are many spoken languages. And as we know, you cannot have language without culture. And for the deaf community and deaf communities, the sign languages are the lifeblood of our community. And we would like to try to find a way to, like spoken languages are done, to capture, through machine learning, sign languages, which is not possible today. Now, I'm not going to talk about deaf culture. We spent a lot of time this week in our group working on that this week, but please come by our demo table at the end of these presentations.
So something that I'm sure we're all familiar with is Google Translate. And this works extremely well now for written languages. And one of the reasons that this is so good by now is that we have vast data sets for written languages, for example, the European Parliament for English to German. It's surprising then that even though one of the people that actually helped develop this product at Google is deaf, that this does not work for sign language yet. And one of the reasons for this is that we do not yet have an adequate data set to be able to recognize signs and convert them into any other language. So we actually end up with a chicken and egg problem. We don't have the data to create the platform, and we don't have the platform to create the data. So what we want to build is a digital commons for sign languages. And this would be something that becomes central to the deaf community around the world. And what that means in specifics is that at its core, we have a large database which is well annotated for signs and meanings in other languages. And with that database, on top of it, you can build social platforms, games, ways for people to interact with the data, and thereby add more meaning and more depth to that data. And all of this would then be open access, so that developers would be able to use it to write machine learning algorithms and so on, to be able to make it more than the sum of its parts, and to have some really cool applications.
So as you can see, here on the screen is an example of an app that we created, and it enables a person to basically input samples of the sign language and tag it for meaning into the comments. This shows an example of a sign language game that we've created to make, obviously, this data capture more fun. So we let community users play this game where they create as many signs as they can with any particular single hand shape. They come up with as many signs that this hand shape is used in. For example, this one here could be stupid, could be apple, could be try, could be impact or advocate. So the user in the game puts as many signs in there as possible with that handshake, and then that actually builds the data in the comments just by virtue of people playing with it. As you can see, the icon that we've come up with here, it actually comes from a sign that, well, as more people are using sign language, more people will learn each other's sign languages, and hearing people who don't know sign language will be able to learn a sign language, and so it opens up sign languages to everybody. And so this sign is actually, this icon is a symbol of what a very common sign is that shows open, so it's open source and dynamic.
So we would like you to imagine a world where one day we have the data set to be able to power things like a Google search that you can enter data into with sign language. So you can actually search using ASL, for example. Imagine robots that can sign. Imagine all of these things. Wouldn't that be pretty cool?
Thank you.